Merry meet everyone and welcome to My Pagan Life. Welcome to this Q&A! I am going to jump right into your questions, but I have an announcement that I bet a lot of you have been waiting for a long time. A question I probably should have included in my FAQ, frequently asked questions, is do you have a Facebook page? Well, I am here to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that My Pagan Life has finally got its own Facebook group. All you have to do is search My Pagan Life on Facebook, ask to join by sending a request, and then I will add you. You can post anything regarding Wicca, paganism, and witchcraft, you can comment on others' posts, or you can ask me questions, also personally, through KittyMoon, which is my official user for this group. So if we want this to work, I need people participating. So if you've been waiting for this for a long time, please go on Facebook and follow the instructions I just gave you. Anyway, let's get over to the questions. Who's your patron god/goddess? In the beginning, figuring this whole thing out about divinity and the god and the goddess was very difficult to me because I did not know how I was supposed to see the god and the goddess. I had this idea that everyone were polytheists and that you had to be a polytheist in order to be a Wiccan. But duotheism is actually a basic and central concept within Gardnerian Wicca. So no, I don't actually have a patron or matron god/goddess. My question could be, what would you recommend to young people who's really interested in Wicca and paganism, and who would like to become a pagan? I'm from a Christian family, so it's hard. Tuck. In many cases, people who are drawn to Wicca tend to be drawn towards nature. And this is a very important aspect of Wicca, considering that Wicca is based upon nature. This was never my case. I became a nature person because of Wicca. But being a Wiccan and being a pagan always involves an interest in nature, or anything related to paganism and pagan history. There is no exact recipe, so the tip I would give to anyone who is interested in Wicca and paganism is to explore. I'm already teaching my mom about my beliefs on what I believe in to make it seem less evil to her. For example, talking about the maiden, mother, and the crone as the stages of life, telling her how I think God is both male and female, telling her stories of the gods I worship, which so far is strictly Celtic, etc. And so far it's working. Do you have any tips at all on how to explain more to her without her turning her nose at the other things, such as the pentagram and magic? Considering you know your mother really well, you really have to evaluate things. But keep sticking to the one thing you've already been sticking to this entire time. Focus on the positive things. It is not to shun away the negative and to not acknowledge that there are negative things about Wicca and paganism, but you're trying to convince her and help her understand that your interests or your beliefs are not threatening. To help her get a good first impression, you have to focus on what makes you positive to this and what makes this positive. Talk about how the pentacle is linked to the god and the goddess and the elements, which are components that you find in nature. And magic. I know a lot of people will argue that magic is not the same as a Christian prayer, but to be quite honest, in a lot of ways it is quite similar. And considering she is Christian, she is probably very familiar with the concept of prayer. So try to find similarities between magic and things she's already comfortable with and that she knows a lot about. What's your favorite part about Wicca? The god and the goddess. Yeah, it's that simple, actually. What's your favorite Wicca festival? I think I have to choose the winter and the summer solstice. I like all of them, but I guess I just have to choose those two. Quick question, have you ever had any encounters with your power animal or spirit animal? I stood face to face with a deer, our eyes were fixed, then the deer bolted. I'm only 13 at the time of writing this, just thought I might say, you've earned a subscriber. First off, I want to say thank you so much. Over to your question, yeah, I have had encounters with my spirit animal, but it's sort of random and it's not always a certainty. I try to practice meditation in order to come in contact with my spirit animal, but as I previously said, it's not always certain that I do happen to encounter my spirit animal. Do you own any books about Wicca? And where did you get them, if so? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do own books about Wicca. Wait! Maya, you said you didn't have any books. But guess what, my friend? I've taken action, and I finally got some books about Wicca. The first one is the very well-known Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. Many people talk about how this book is so awesome, and I haven't gotten through the entire book, but I can say thus far that it's actually pretty decent. The second book I was also planning on doing a book review on, but then I was like, Maya, you can't do a book review on this thing. And then the other part of me was like, why not? And then the first part of me was like, dude, you can't do a book review on a book that is this freaking huge. For those of you who have not seen this book, this is the Element Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells. It's actually really good, really neat, and has all the spells you need, and it has a lot of information regarding witchcraft. And last but not least, I have a book that is not directly related to Wicca, but it is related to herbs and plants. This is a Norwegian book called Medisinplanter i Norge, which means medicine plants in Norway. This is basically a list of herbs and plants that can be used in food and medicine. I am so hyped about this book. I got it yesterday. My mother was at the bookstore without me being there, and she saw it and she was like, oh, that reminds me, I've got a little Wiccan at home who probably will like this book. So you know what? Thanks, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for being so chill. As to where to get them, I'm not actually sure. What I do know is that you can find them on the internet. How do we do rituals for beginners? I'm assuming I'm going to have to do a video on this, but the one tip I'm going to give you for now is keep it simple. Do not think you have to make it fancy, snancy, schnancy, I don't know what it's called. Just don't think it has to be perfect right away. Keep it simple and keep yourself comfortable and you're good to go. How can you dedicate yourself in an easy way? Well, first of all, you have to tell yourself that I'm ready for this. That's how you know you have the mindset and the motivation to start this path and to dedicate yourself. Also, I suggest you do a dedication ritual. I will do a video on that as well. If not, I'm going to see if I can add or put a link in the description below so that you can read a little bit more about it as of now. How can you start to practice your psychic abilities like empathy and seeing the future and how to be patient? Thank you so much and blessed be. I suggest you try meditation because it has really worked for me, so try 5-minute meditations, whether they be guided or not, and try to do them regularly and maybe you will see results. I don't know, I saw results, so many of you I think will see results pretty quickly. One thing I want to pinpoint though is that empathy isn't a psychic ability unless it's taken to a completely different level, like, you know, empaths. When we're talking about empaths, we're not talking about having the ability of empathy, because empathy is something that most people, maybe granted not psychopaths, but that most humans possess. So when we're talking about empaths, we're talking about people who have this empathy ability taken to an extreme or to a completely different level and in a different sense other than the rest of us. And when I say rest of us, I do consider myself an empath, but I'm not going to go into detail about this right now. I will probably do more videos on this later on. Do you do spells? And even if you do, have any of them worked? In order for a spell to work, you have to believe it works, because it's not the spell doing it for you, it's actually you yourself. So not all of my spells have worked, but a lot of them have. What attracted you to Wicca/paganism? What is your favorite divination tool? And what is your favorite thing to do in your practice? What attracted me to Wicca and paganism in the first place was a bunch of Wiccan chants that I found on the internet. Later on, I kept studying Wicca and paganism and witchcraft, and I bumped into the concept of the god and the goddess, which really made me realize that this was the path for me. For the divination tools, I like basically all of them. I can't choose. My favorite thing to do in my practice is probably once in a while light a candle and focus my intention, or practice visualization. How did you find Wicca? I already answered this question. Wiccan chants and the god and the goddess, those are the two main elements to a happy Maya now in Wicca. So thank you guys so much for your questions. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, comment, like, and subscribe to this channel for more videos every week. And don't forget the My Pagan Life Facebook group. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be from My Pagan Life.